Good morning to all of you. Today I am going to discuss with you all about the two phases of photosynthesis. The phases are light reaction and dark reaction. So in case of light reaction and dark reaction, as the name is suggesting, light reaction is dependent on light and dark reaction is independent of light. Okay, so we will see what happens in light reaction. So basically light reaction involves three processes. The first process is absorption of sunlight. So when chlorophyll absorbs the light, the enzymes and electrons, the electrons in the chlorophyll gets activated and it comes to the outermost orbit. Okay, so this is absorption of light. Then there is second one, splitting of water. The water splits to give hydronium ion and hydroxyl ions. Afterwards, what will happen? The hydroxyl ions gets reduced to water and at the same time oxygen along with 4 electrons. The electrons are the energy rich substances that are used for activating other chemical processes. Afterwards, what will happen? The NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, absorbs the electrons along with hydronium ions to give NADPH. So NADPH is a complex molecule and the energy gets stored in that. Okay. Next is photophosphorylation, the last process. So in case of photophosphorylation, what is happening? Photons in the presence of sunlight, photo means light, where what is happening? The ADPs utilize the inorganic phosphates and gets converted into ATP. So in all the metabolic activities, the reverse happens. Means the ATP gets converted into ADP plus inorganic phosphates. But here in photophosphorylation, in the presence of light, what is happening? ADP is absorbing or combining with inorganic phosphate to give ATP. Okay, so as a whole, this is light reaction where only what will happen? Oxygen is released. Okay, in the light reaction, oxygen is released. Now we have dark reaction. Again, I am telling dark reaction means it is light independent. Okay, dark reaction does not mean that it will take place in the night. It simply means that it is independent of the sunlight. That's why it is named as dark reaction. It is also known as Kelvin cycle or Blackman reaction, where what will happen? You see, the carbon dioxide gets reduced when it is combining with H from the NADPH, and in the presence of ATP, it gets converted into glucose. So the glucose, whatever you are getting in the photosynthesis reaction or during the photosynthesis reaction or after the photosynthesis reaction, the end product, that is the glucose molecules, you will get after the dark reaction. So in that dark reaction, this glucose is synthesized, whereas in the light reaction, already I have told, only oxygen will be synthesized. Okay, the main component is RUBP. RUBP is an enzyme complex where it is responsible for this cycle, ribulose biphosphate. Okay, so this is about the dark reaction, and in the dark reaction we will get glucose. Now we will see the factors responsible for the photosynthesis. So light, CO2 and water along with temperature, these are responsible for the external factors responsible for the controlling of rate of photosynthesis. So if you talk about light, sunlight if you will talk, so depending upon the wavelength, there is rate of photosynthesis will be affected. So first, the rate of photosynthesis will be maximum in red light, afterwards then blue light, and the least in green light. So rate of photosynthesis will be least in green light and the highest in red light. Okay, now we have CO2, the carbon dioxide. This is the raw material, and for the initiation of the photosynthesis process, and at the same time this CO2 gets reduced to hexose sugar, that is the glucose. This is H12O6, this is hexose sugar, and CO2 is only getting reduced to this. Okay. Next is water. Water provides a mechanism or medium for the dissolving of the enzymes and for carrying out all the processes. Water is serving as a medium, and also water releases the electrons, okay, along with NADP, so that it can combine with NADP and it can liberate oxygen. Okay, so hydrogen serves as a oxygen liberator. So oxygen, whatever we are getting after the photosynthesis reaction, that is coming out of water. Now coming on to the temperature, the rate of photosynthesis increases with increase in temperature. At the 35-degree temperature, 35-degree temperature, what happens? Every 10 degree centigrade, the rate of photosynthesis doubles. Okay, so these are the external factors which are controlling the rate of reaction, or is responsible for the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, now we have principle of limiting factors. This principle of limiting factor tells that light, CO2 and temperature, these are the primary components responsible for photosynthesis reaction. And since all these factors are independent of each other, so whichever factor will be the lowest among all these three, actually that factor only determines the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, this is called the principle of limiting factors. Now we have some internal factors also: chlorophyll, protoplasm and the leaf anatomy. So in case of chlorophyll, so what is happening? It is chlorophyll, the most important pigment, because it is only absorbing the light energy which is utilized for the formation of ATP and the reduction of NADP. Okay. Then we have protoplasm. So the protoplasm is responsible, essential for photosynthesis, because chloroplast, it is a part of protoplasm, and photosynthesis reaction takes place within the chloroplast. Next, third, we have leaf anatomy. So size, structure, position of stomata, number of chloroplast in the leaf, they are affecting the rate of photosynthesis. The thickness of cuticle, so the cuticle, how much thick it is, and the size of the leaf is also affecting the rate of photosynthesis. So if the size of leaf is big, it can absorb more amount of light, and this can increase the rate of photosynthesis. Now we have what is the importance of photosynthesis. First one, source of energy. So after the photosynthesis process, whatever the glucose molecules are synthesized, they are the source of energy for each and every organism on the earth. As already you are knowing that this is the plants are called producers. They only produce the food by the help of photosynthesis. So they are only the primary producers. They can produce the food, and all the organisms directly or indirectly they are dependent upon the plants. So that's why it is called the source of energy. Next is production of food. So the food production is also due to the photosynthesis reaction. If the reaction will not take place, the food will not be produced and all the organism will die starving. Okay. Next, we have balancing CO2 and O2. For the balance of oxygen and CO2, to maintain that balance between the oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, we need a photosynthesis reaction, because this reaction only takes the CO2 and releases O2. But if we will talk about respiration, all other processes of the respiration in different organisms, they are doing the reverse. Means they are taking the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide. So if photosynthesis process will not occur, due to the respiration process, the CO2 will be more in the atmosphere, that will lead to global warming. Okay. Then balancing all these types. So these are the importance of photosynthesis reactions. Okay. So as a whole, we can say that photosynthesis is responsible for existence of life on the earth. Okay. So all the different types of organism, they are dependent on the plants for their food directly or indirectly, but plants are dependent on the sunlight for their photosynthesis. Okay. So photosynthesis serves as very important process for the plants and also for other organisms. Okay. Now we have to deal with some of the experiments. So the experiments we will be dealing in the next class. Till then,